everyone, and welcome to my March TBR Assemble birthday edition. March is my birthday month, so what I've decided to do instead of the full TBR Assemble is to look through my TBR cards and pick the prompts I want specifically, so I can pick a really good, really fun TBR that I'm going to really enjoy to celebrate my birthday. So let's get into exactly what I picked and what I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be starting with the Space Stone, aka the sci-fi cards, because I know I definitely want to be reading another Murderbot book this month, so naturally I cannot be using Nick Fury for this. I could use Kate Bishop and let the Arrow decide, which would be really fun, but I definitely know I really want to be reading Murderbot, and this could end up with me not picking that, so I'm going to carry on. The Watcher book I've had my eye on, potential, but I'll see what else I've got. TVA Time Travel, that isn't going to work. It can't also be on your left because it's not on the left hand bookcase. Wiccan Altered Realities, I may use that one later I think, but right now I'm going to carry on. Icarus, a book from the Priority TBR, possible. Manipulative Character, continue a series with Loki. Yeah, I'm going to go with Loki, continue a series, and for that, naturally, I'm going to be reading the next one in the Murderbot series because I have been loving this so much. I've been recently rereading them. I've gone up to the 4th one in my reread, and now everything else is going to be brand new to me, and I cannot wait because I love Murderbot. I love this storyline so much. I love the character so much, and I've been really enjoying actually listening to the audiobook while we're travelling around visiting friends and all of this kind of thing. And we do have a big drive for us this month because we're going down to Cardiff to basically fangirl over Doctor Who for a bit because that's where they film it. So I'm going to need a long audiobook for that, so Murderbot is going to be perfect for that journey. Then if we carry on going through the list, because I do really fancy reading another sci-fi, I've got a couple in mind at the moment. We've got Torres, which is a TBR jar pick, and I'm thinking not at the moment. I need to redo actually that one. I've also got I've Been Where You Are, which is a character I'll relate to, which I could have really used with Murderbot, I won't lie. Peter Maximoff, a quick read. I don't think I've got a quick sci-fi, so I'll keep going. You Want Me, Come and Get Me, which is another one off the priority list, which I could use, but at the moment I'm thinking not at the moment because I've got one book in particular in my head at the moment, so I'm going to see if I can get anything for that. Monica Rambeau from a recent haul, that's definitely not going to work. Spider-Man, a YA book. I don't think I've even got a YA sci-fi anymore. I'm going to have to bolster that, I will say. Iron Man, an old sci-fi off my TBR. Again, I don't think I've got any of those. Sinister Strange, I don't have a sci-fi in a trilogy either. Again, I'm going to have to really sort of bolster my sci-fi. It looks like Sprite, middle grade, definitely isn't going to work, so I don't have any middle grade sci-fi. A new female author with She's Got Help. Again, I don't think I've got one of those. Carol, continue a series. Again, would have been perfect for Murderbot, but never mind. T'Challa, a diverse author. Again, I'm going to have a look for that one, and nothing's really coming to mind at the moment, so I think I'll keep this one in the back pocket. Coulson, an author I love, again would have been perfect for Murderbot, never mind. And then finally, I also have Mr. Fantastic, a genius character. And again, I don't think I've got anything for that specifically, but what I'm going to do is go back to Wiccan and Altered Realities, because there is one book I've really wanted to read for a while now, and that is the Kaiju Preservation Society, which has been calling to me for the last couple of months because, to be perfectly honest with you, I love Kaiju. And that love has really been sort of ignited recently because I've recently been re-watching the Monarch TV show, which is all about Monarch, who are the people who sort of track Godzilla and Kong in the Godzilla Kong universe, and it's made me really love Kaiju again and really sort of brought them to the forefront of my brain. So I think I'm going to be using this one to read the Kaiju Preservation Society, which is about a guy who basically ends up taking a job in the pandemic to essentially look after Kaiju, and if I remember rightly, he has to go through a portal or something to get there, so it's technically an altered reality, so I'm going to be using Wiccan for that prompt. Next up, I'm going to go for comics because naturally I'm not going a month without reading any comics, and I could use It's Clobbering Time for a comic I really want to read, but I feel like that's going to be a good one in sort of like later months. I've also got Avengers, a comic that will bring me joy. Again, I could use that one, but I'm thinking I'm going to look through the rest of them. I've got Bob, a character who is more than they seem. Nothing's coming to mind at the moment. I've also got Milena, a scientist main character, and I'm thinking I've got nothing in particular for that at the moment. Natasha is a TBR jar pick, and again I need to actually go through and actually redo my TBR jar, so I'm going to skip that for now. Charlene, a female author. Nothing's coming to mind at the moment, and I know what I want to read. I want to read some Daredevil this month because the new Daredevil season's out, so I'm just having a look through and seeing if there's anything I could use to fit that. And I mean, Bob would, but I'm going to carry on looking. I've also got Ajax to continue a series. I don't have any Daredevil ongoing series at the moment. Wong, a library book. Again, I want to be reading Daredevil, so I don't think I'm going to go for that. Thunderbolts, a group of morally grey people. Again, tempting, but I think I'm going to save that as well because I think that's going to be more of a December prompt because I know I want to read more Thunderbolts in December, I won't lie. I've also got I Love You 3000, which is to reread an old favourite, which is very, very tempting, I won't lie. But I think I'll leave that one as well for now because that's a really fun prompt to pick at random throughout the year. Stan Lee, any comic I want would be quite good, but I'm still thinking I may carry on going through. An entire event, that ain't happening, I don't have time for that. Got Stephen Grant, a nerdy character, underrated character. Darcy, which is a comic to make me laugh. And there we go, that's the one I want. A Gwenpool, which is something that will make my fangirl heart happy. So I'm going to be going for Daredevil. And I know I could have used multiple prompts in here, but to be perfectly honest, I really wanted to pull Gwenpool. So that is what I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be reading a Daredevil comic because Daredevil is coming out this month. I'm very, very excited for it, and it will make my comic book loving heart so happy to read. Next up we have the Power Stone, aka the fantasy prompt. So first of all, on top we have Mobius, which is very tempting because that is free choice and it just means I get to read anything. But to be perfectly honest with you, everything I'm reading this month is free choice, so that can kind of be saved for when I am actually using TBR Assemble properly, so I get a free choice at some point in some other month. I've also got Lady Sif here, which is to reread an old favourite, which is tempting, but I really want to be reading new books off my TBR, so I'm going to carry on going. Kingo, a fun book. I don't have anything for that at the moment. I've got Makari, which is a quick read. And again, I don't know what's going to be a quick read, so I'll carry on. Blade is vampires, and again, that is very tempting. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm saving all my vampire books for when the Vampire Lestat comes out. So I want to be saving all of them for then and not reading them now, even if that is very tempting. Ghost, a book with ghosts, again is tempting, but I think I'm going to save most of those for Halloween. Magneto, morally grey, again tempting. Quake ebook, I don't have anything in mind right at this minute. Nebula, there we go. From the priority list, I know exactly what I want to be reading for this one, and that is Empty Heaven by Freddie Kolsch, which is the same author who wrote Now Conjurers, which was one of my favourite books the year I read it. And this one, it says, Darian Sabine Arden is haunted by a ghost who claims to love her. I literally just said I didn't have any books with ghosts that I really wanted to read right now. Apparently I did. Anyway, this one is all about ghosts instead of witches. But I absolutely adored Now Conjurers, and I've wanted to read this one for a while now, so that is what I'm going to be doing this month and finally reading this book. Carrying on with the fantasy, I've got Storm, which is Afrofuturism, and I really again need to be building up the reserves on that one because I don't have anything right now. So if you've got any recommendations for that, leave them down below. Clear, a purple book. Don't think I've got a purple book specifically, so I'll carry on. Finish a series. I've got nothing that I really want to finish right now. She-Hulk for a vlog project. Yes, I know exactly what I'm reading for that, and that is the next book in the Skullduggery Pleasant universe, which is A Soul Full of Hatred. I can't tell you what this one's about just because it is the 18th book in the series, but essentially it is the latest one with Skullduggery and Valkyrie, and stuff went down in that last book, left it on a massive cliffhanger. I am expecting Derek Landy to absolutely tear my heart to pieces again, and I am strangely excited about this, I won't lie. So, very, very excited excited for the next one, and I will naturally be vlogging it because I vlog every single time I read a new Skullduggery. And then finally, I have a couple of Own Voices books I also really want to read. So first of all, on the top here, I have Athena, which is a book I keep on forgetting about, and neither of the books I'm going for fits that prompt. Matt, a Dissective cover, I don't think I can use that one either. Druig, a dark book I can use for Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, and I'm really excited about this one. This one is about two students who are going down to hell. I've heard amazing things about this one. I love R.F. Kuang's work, so really excited to finally be reading this one because I've owned it for far too long without reading it. Then finally, I also need to fit a prompt for the next book in the Encrypted series because naturally I'm carrying on with that, so I could use Steve Rogers' an older book for that. Red Guardian, a father figure. I don't think that's going to work, though the Price family are a family, but I don't know how much their father's going to really sort of play into this one. Gilgamesh, a big book. It is not a big book, so that's not going to work. That's America's Ass, a fun book. Again, that could work, but I'm just thinking I may use that in another month when I pull it out of TBR Assemble naturally, and that'll be a fun sort of like thing to pick like later on down the line. Start a new series is definitely not, it's in the middle of it. Disabled author or main character, again that could work, but I'm thinking, nah. There we go. Vision, Shauna Maguire, literally made for this prompt. So what I'm going to be doing this time is reading this book by Shauna Maguire, which is Chaos Choreography, which is the 5th book in the Encrypted series, and we are back to following Verity again. I know nothing else further than that, further than the fact that I love this series. It's very much what happens when the Addams family are cryptozoologists and all of the bonkers things they get up to, which I absolutely adore. And I'm really excited to get back into this series again and carry on reading it. And I've just realised there was one other sci-fi book I also really wanted to read this month, and that is Torchwood Slow Decay by Andy Lane. And the prompt I'm going to be using for that is On Your Left from the Left-Hand Bookcase, because that is where all of my Doctor Who and Torchwood books are. And the reason why I want to read this one is because I'm going to Cardiff, like I said, for my birthday, so I can go Doctor Who and Torchwood location scouting, and it felt right to be reading a Torchwood book before I went, essentially, or while I am in Cardiff. So that is what I'm going to be doing. This one was one of my favourites from childhood. I read this one about 4 or 5 times, I think it was, when I was a kid, and I haven't read it in about 15 years. So I kind of want to go down memory lane while I'm also in Cardiff, or around the time I'm in Cardiff, and this sounds like a really good time. This one is about random energy surges and also extraterrestrial devices, all of this kind of thing. Classic Torchwood, and I'm really excited to be back in the world of Torchwood because I haven't really sort of been in that world outside of, like, obviously Doctor Who in about 15 years I think it is, so I'm going to be back in that world again. And this is my March TBR, obviously missing things like Murderbot and Catabasis, because Murderbot is an audiobook and Catabasis for some reason is downstairs at the moment and I forgot to bring it up. But anyway, this is going to be my March TBR, so I've got a nice mix here. I've got childhood favourites, I've got Ghosts, I've got some of my new favourite series, I've got some Murderbot that I deeply relate to, and also some R.F. Kuang going to hell type story as well, which is going to fill in the spooky factor for me on top of that. So there's a nice mix of stuff on here, a nice mix of genres, and I feel like it's going to be a really strong TBR for March to celebrate my birthday. And that is where I'm going to leave this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you're reading in March, I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me, I'm going to say, an alien emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But till next time everyone, bye!